way Dave Joerger has handled it in the past. Last year, when they had George Hill, they've tried to play a lot of veterans a lot of time. We saw a lot of vets. There were a lot of games where we're sitting there looking, and there's Zebo down the stretch, right?
Vince Carter
down the stretch, getting big minutes. How much do you need to kind of just hand the reins to these kids this year? How does Dave do the best he can with this group this season?
I thought he did a nice job in having those veterans, like you said, George Hill for the guards, and the wing guys is Vince Carter, and for the bigs is Zach Randolph. But Casey, you're totally right. This year, you got to hand the keys over to these young guys. They're going to have to take their lumps and bumps, and I think it's time for them. And I still think they have a long way to go, but right now, I love Zebo. That's my guy, but I think you've got to go with these young guys and let them get their feet wet. They're going to go through it, but it's time for them to have the keys.
Yeah, I mean, Booz, you mentioned earlier, and you're right, De'Aaron Fox had a couple of real great moments down the stretch of games, but we didn't get to see these guys on the floor a lot together. Right. How much did you learn as a young player during those mistakes you made in fourth quarters of games? How much does this group need to do that this year?
Yeah, that was a big growth process for me. I got thrown in the fire right away when I went to Cleveland. You know, started at power forward. I did have a great vet in Tyrone Hill who taught me the ropes a little bit. But learning against Kevin Garnett, we talked about off camera, failing against Karl Malone, failing against some of these OG vets that taught me the ropes, Chris Webber, helped me propel to my successes later in my career. So that's where these Sacramento Kings are going to be at. They need to fail a little bit against the San Antonios and against the Golden State Warriors and against the Houston Rockets so they can figure out how to succeed. Because winning in the NBA as a youngster is very hard to do. But the sooner you learn how to get through some of those failures, you can start winning.
I'm listening to you guys talk about Cauley-Stein, Bagley, Fox. Fair to say the pace should be a pretty quick one with this offense? Is that the kind of game you want to play?
Yeah, I think so. And I think for young guys, it's hard for them to all get on the same page defensively. You know, a lot of young guys, it just takes a while, that end defensively. So I think it's better for them to run. I don't know if they're a half-court team. I don't know if they have somebody who can stabilize them from a standpoint as a go-to guy. So I think they're better fit, especially Willie Cauley-Stein, the way he runs, and Bagley and Fox. They got to use that speed and that youth and those young legs.
All right, the question is, what is the best way to use Bagley? We're going to break that down a little bit and get to more of the depth chart. We talked about some of those vets. They've got some on this team, but they've also got some youth and some talent. The Kings, potential aplenty.
Beautiful to stop. Bobby Sear fires and hits. By Cauley-Stein. Oh, what a pass by De'Aaron Fox. It's in and out, and it's put back in. De'Aaron Fox. Scow for the win! Oh, boy!
We continue with our team preview of the Kings, looking at the depth chart. And we talked about a lot of their different players. Didn't get to Justin Jackson, who got to see it in Summer League. The shot is there, but maybe more the confidence level than what we saw last year from him, Smith.
Yeah, and I think for him is, like you said, shooting-wise and skill set is there. I just think his body wasn't ready for the NBA 82 games. But this summer he looked good. I'm interested in seeing Ben McLemore. This is his second stint with Sacramento. Loved him coming out of college. Buddy Hield, those are kind of the guys I think this is very important for those guys to take the next step, Booz.
Yeah, get a chance to establish themselves. They're going to get plenty of playing time, plenty of minutes. Hopefully they've worked on their game a little over the summertime and get a chance to establish themselves in this league.
You got to love Frank Mason.
Tough.
Where they said that, man, they said he was too small. College player of the year for a reason.
Yogi Ferrell, De'Aaron Fox, they're going to have some nice. I would love to see their training camp at that point guard position. There's going to be some tough.
Battling it out.
Won't be as tough as it will be for Gilgeous Alexander, who's got Patrick Beverly in practice. It'll be difficult, yeah.
Yes.
Go get him, kid. Speaking of kids, Bagley, obviously, we talk about how highly he was picked and where we look at him in terms of the future. But where do we look at him on the floor, Smitty?
You know, I think for me, Booz, and you've seen him a lot much more because he's a dookie, but I don't see him, right starting off. I don't know if he's just a back-to-the-basket guy that can bang guys. He's kind of sliding built. And I also don't see him at the three-point line. I think he has a nice shot. He has nice form, Booz, but I don't see his range right there. I kind of see him at the Chris Bosh. So say this is perfect right here. Going against Booz, he's not going to overpower Booz out there. Then I don't want to see him just isolating. So I would love to have him catching the basketball right here in the isolation where he can shoot it if Booz is off. And if Booz gets a little bit close, now he can use his rip-through and his one dribble to the bucket. That's the kind of where I think you should see him playing basketball. And then the other spot for me is in transition.
Yeah.
Just run.
Yeah.
Use your athleticism, get some easy buckets and tip-ins.
And the other thing for him is he's a great pick-and-roll player. He can pick lobs at the rim and also defensively. Because you can switch him out on 2s, 3s, 4s, let him use his size and his length to block shots, rebound, like you said, get to the guard, Fox, and just run.
Going to get a lot of attention, though, offensively on this team, right? If you're sitting there on the other side on defense, that's going to be the guy you want to limit. Cauley Stein, we talk about, going to get his baskets on the run in transition. If Fox, you don't want to let beat you off the dribble, but it's going to be Bagley you focus on.
You is, and I think if I'm in coach's staff, I'm trying to deny him and rough him up. And I would ask Booz, as a young guy coming up, you know, what would you say for a guy, you didn't have this problem, you were physically there.
Yeah.
What should he do if veterans is trying to get into him and grabbing him and pushing him? What would you advise him to do?
You got to go through that. That's part of like the hazing in the NBA. People are gonna be physical with you. See how much you spend time in the weight room. See how much mentally tough you are, because it's a physical pounding you're gonna take. But how strong are you up here so you can overcome that? Use your speed, use your quickness when you get the ball. Like you said, Smitty, use your quick rips, because he's very quick. He's very athletic. One dribble and he's at the rim already. So for him, take some of that pounding, get in the weight room, of course, but use your speed, use your quickness, use your agility.
Who was the guy that did that to you? Either of you remember?
I got beat up every day in practice.
Karl Malone for me.
Yeah, every day. The two-guard
Okay.
position was a little ugly back then. Everybody, Clyde, they were big two guards. Joe, Michael,
Everybody.
everybody.
Okay, well, you pushed around some people too, Smitty.
Yeah, you gotta,
I thought Bagley was going to give the Smitty in our demo. Having Zebo there, having a guy, when you talk about toughness, I'm listening to you, Booz, and I'm thinking, man, that's got to help, right?
Yeah, it don't get too much tougher than Zach. And the great thing about him is he played against some tough guys in his career. He can give Bagley what it takes, the keys to the blueprint on how to be successful, especially because Bagley's so much more athletic than Zach was. So his touch, getting in the gym, working around the rim, getting his jumper down. You know, Zach was a guy that was 17, 18 feet, very consistent. If Bagley can get his jump shot very consistent from around that same range, knock down a good clip from the three-point line as well, it makes him even more dangerous.
What better guy, if you're athletic, to learn from a guy who's jumping like that? He can score the basketball at 20 and 10 because he plays through angles. Zach was never going to overpower, I would say, Carlos Boozer, but he's going to take angles. He's going to pump fake. He's going to drive it hard. And one great thing about Zach, understood when they were in the bonus. That's when he's going real hard and be physical. Just teaching him the game and all the little nuances can help him.
When you guys get into college, your first year, I would assume you look at sophomores and juniors and they kind of show you the ropes. Does it help Bagley to have Fox there, to have a high pick that was just a year before, that just went through first road trip, first time having a mistake, first time after a tough loss, all those sorts of things?
Well, I always tell big guys when they first came in the league is that the point guard, you better go be his friend. Make sure you be Fox's friend. Make sure, and when I started off as a point guard, I went right to Ronnie Cycli, making sure where he wanted the basketball, because he got the rebound. I wanted the outlet. I wanted to have that chemistry along with Glenn Rice. If you're a point guard, you go find the scores. If you're big, you go find that point guard and be his friend.
Make sure to befriend the point guard.
Yeah, you take him to eat, you take him to dinner, go to that Carl's Jr. or whatever it is you want to go eat at around the corner. Get some food.
They got to eat
together.
better than that, Booze.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just saying, who's the point guard in this set?
You.
Right, just remember that.
You the point guard?
I'm hungry. I'm hungry.
Okay.
Not
Waffle House for you.
Waffle House. Not going to Carl's Jr. We got more coming up on the team preview for the Sacramento Kings. The offseason, good company. Good guy to hang with. Kobe and De'Aaron Fox, social, and the starters.
Do you put your hands down? Close them in a fist? Are you right-handed or left-handed? Right-handed, so drop your left hand, keep your right hand out. Can you hold out your hand in mine?
Right about it. You always gotta do something crazy with me, man.
Stay still, right?
That's what I'm saying, Joe. It's gonna be a tattoo next thing you know.
It is a tattoo. That's permanent ink. You guys have a connection. So anything he feels, you feel.
Before we do this, man, do that man have an X? Do an X on my hand, I'm gonna put it.
Turn your hands.
No,
He just got now.
No,
He just got.
oh, man. Hey, Willie, man.
Show everybody.
Willie, if this your old girl, man. Bro, I wouldn't do this.
Big finger horns.
Get out of here.
What is that?
Sleight of hand, bro.
That one. You're happy with that one? Go ahead and sign your name on it. So that was like the easiest way for me to get an autograph.
Oh my God, stop it.
This is where it's gonna get kind of weird. Just go with it, okay? We're gonna fold it,
Okay.
and I need you to bite on it.
Yeah, I'm biting on.
Perfect.
Hard?
Yeah, just keep it in your mouth. Perfect. Bite. Perfect. All right, just stay like that. Is that weird? All right, perfect. I'm gonna sign my name. And a D, and actually I'll put a little heart symbol. Just like that. Do the same thing. Fold it up.
Oh my God. Whoa. What?
What's in there?
Oh my God. No way. So,
What is that?
wow! Oh my gosh.
What would be impossible is if it was 12 down in the deck that you're holding.
It's not.
Go ahead, deal the cards face up into my hand. Let's count again. Ready? 1. 11. Stop. That's the 12th card. Check it out.
Well, from tricks to showing off tricks with the dancing moves, okay. Marvin Bagley, well, he can play basketball well. Two guys who know how to
They
dance.
don't dance well at Duke.
Two guys who know how to dance a little bit, the starters.
Trey Kirby and Tass Mellis of the starters here for your next point on the Sacramento Kings. True or false, Trey? The Kings' young core will break out this season.
True.
Huh.
Because I think the young core is pretty much the whole team on the Kings. They can easily have a starting lineup where no player has been in the league for more than 3 seasons.
So they're going to the playoffs or what?
Well, I don't know about that, but if the whole team is the young core, you just got to win a few more games to have a breakout season. The key is that Dave Joerger has to let these guys fly. They were very low in the league in pace last year, but you've got a point guard in De'Aaron Fox is one of the quickest guys in the league. You got shooters in Buddy Hield, Bogdan Bogdanovic, and draft pick Marvin Bagley. Seems like he's going to be a guy who's productive playing in an up-tempo system. Zach Randolph can't lead this team in scoring because it means, A, Zach Randolph is getting a lot of touches, and B, you're playing at Zach Randolph's pace. If he leads the team in scoring this season, the answer will be false, but I'm betting on true.
I don't blame Dave Joerger for playing Zach Randolph a lot of minutes because his team didn't break out. His young guys just didn't play well enough. I think if you get one of these guys to play well and to have a great season, you know, those guys you mentioned, whether it's De'Aaron Fox or Willie Cauley-Stein, I think that's great. That's fantastic. I think you're hoping more for an adult pimple rather than like a teenage breakout. Just one pimple is fine. I mean, when you drafted all these guys up and down the roster, you don't expect all of them to break out, but I don't expect all of them to just be thrust into the lineup, into the spotlight, because they're not great. And I understand where Dave Joerger was last year with Zach Randolph and Kosta Koufos and Iman Shumpert playing a lot of minutes. But I think the guy that you have to look at is De'Aaron Fox. Now with George Hill gone from this team, he can be a star in this league. I do have faith in him amongst all of those guys. And if Buddy Hield can be the Stephen Curry, the Vivek Ranadive, half of Steph Curry, then I guess he's breaking out too.
They've got some solid players. Hopefully they put it together and play to their players' strengths. I think a system built around playing fast would work out well for the Kings.
All right, that is it for us. More on the Kings coming up. And if you want more of the starters, check us out weeknights throughout the entire season here on NBA TV.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Potential, yes. Performance, we'll discuss. We're breaking down whether or not they get more or less than you might expect.